So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I think we are still admitting some people as there is a major interest. We still have some people in the waiting room, but let me start already with the introduction. My name is Jitka Pánek-Jurková. I'm the director of Czech Center Brussels, the organizer of this event that is turning out to be really fun and really popular already. And it is really my great pleasure to welcome you all, of course, especially our two speakers, but all of you at tonight's Beer Superpowers event. Which Czech and which Belgian wouldn't swear on great beer, right? We are both rather small countries, but we are giants, or we like to call ourselves maybe even superpowers in their beer cultures. In Belgium, as well as in the Czech Republic, people gather around beer to discuss their daily troubles, their political opinions, maybe in normal times, their frustrations. We were not able to organize what we originally wanted, a very physical encounter of people over the best Czech and Belgian beers, but we decided to take it online, and it seems right now that it might be actually working really well, or we hope for that. The interest in this event has been enormous. We sold out all our beer samples twice, both in Belgium and in the Czech Republic. So that was a pleasant surprise. And thank you everyone once again for this wonderful feedback on our event. Let me start with the general Zoom rules, and then I will move to some of the details of this event, and then of course to the introduction of our speakers. As you all know, after these few months that we have mostly spent on Zoom, please, it's ideal to keep your microphones and your cameras off unless you are talking. So I would ask everyone to turn their microphones and their cameras off for the time of the beer tasting, and then you will be very much welcome to turn them on after the tasting for a discussion with Luc and Filip that will take place in some 50 minutes after the presentation. Then the Q&A, the rules are, as you know them, again, the same. Please, you can ask your questions by raising your virtual hand in the participant section, or you can write to the chat and we will translate the question to the speakers. If you don't feel comfortable in English, that's fine too. You can of course ask in Czech or in Dutch or in French, and this will be translated to the speakers as well. No problem with that. We are rather multilingual here. We hope you have your beer packages ready, the Czech ones for our Belgian viewers and the Belgian ones for our Czech viewers, and that you are able to enjoy tonight with Luc and Filip. An important disclaimer is that we are recording this session. It will be later on for view online as well. So if there is anyone who does not want to be visible on the recording, you can always change your Zoom name in your personal settings. And even a more important disclaimer, there is a personalized playlist that is called Beer Superpowers. You can find it on Spotify, but my colleague is sending the link right now to the chat section. We encourage you very much to put this on the background as, to introduce the ambience of your favorite bar. The playlist has been put together with Luc and Filip. It's their favorite beer songs or drinking songs or just ambience songs. So enjoy them. I've been enjoying them very much in the past few days. I will very soon introduce the speakers. But let me also first say that we are having a competition tonight for a book written by Filip Nerad, The Beer Kingdom of Belgium. The book was translated into English very recently. We are posting the rules into the chat section right now as well. But in general, we will ask you to choose your favorite beer sample of tonight. Yes, that's the book that Filip is showing up there. To choose your favorite beer sample for tonight and try to write a sentence about the beer, introducing it as if you were a professional beer reviewer. So if the beer is reminding you of a meadow at your grandmother's cabin in summer, it's perfectly fine. If you have any other association, that would be very much welcome too. Just write us one sentence about your favorite beer from tonight, and please add your email so we can contact you afterwards and send you the book, if your answer is found to be the best one and is the winner of this competition. So that's the competition. And finally, I have this very pleasant task to thank all our partners, and there have been quite a few, so bear with me for 2 more minutes. I have to thank immensely the representation of South Moravia to the European Union. There are 3 samples from the South Moravian region. You guys have been wonderful in physically dragging the beer to Belgium, so thank you so much. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. Very warm thank you to the CzechTourism in Benelux that have helped us a lot as well, and to the representation of the Pilsner region to the European Union. They have also provided samples of their worldwide known lager. Very warm thank you to the Hops'n More in Leuven. Thank you guys who have been wonderful in partnering up with us in distributing the beers and helping with the promotion. Thank you very much to the Bierhuis in Prague, the same. I am glad that there was a success on the Czech territory as well. Thank you very much to the Bier Grand Cru magazine that has been our partner for promotion of this event. And on the Czech soil, it has been the Pivo Beer and Ale magazine. So thank you very much again for your partnership. And we also have to thank 3 of our breweries that gave us the samples for a very favorable price or for free: the Únětický brewery, the Mazák brewery, and the Vorkloster brewery. So that was all the partners. Thank you very much to the team of the Czech Center Brussels, who has achieved the impossible, dragging twice beers in between the Czech Republic and Belgium amidst the COVID lockdown, but we did manage, so I'm glad. And now it's finally the time to present the people that really are essential for today's evening, and we are very amazingly helpful in preparing that. Let me welcome Luc De Raedemaeker, who is a tasting director at a very important beer festival, the Brussels Beer Challenge. He's also a juror at international beer festivals and a lecturer in zythology, which is a new word for some of us, maybe, for some of us not. Of course, a study of beer. And Luc will be tasting and commenting Czech beers tonight. He knows the Czech Republic very well as the Czech beer, so he's the right person to do so. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. The second guest from the Czech Republic who will be commenting on the Belgian beers is Filip Nerad. Welcome, Filip. Filip is a former Brussels correspondent for the Czech Radio. He did spend his years in Brussels, of course, reporting on EU affairs, but he also gathered pretty substantial knowledge on Belgian beers and published a well-received book, The Beer Kingdom of Belgium, that was first published in Czech, but also now translated into English and is finding its way into the world right now. And Filip lives currently in Prague, where he is the Czech Radio analyst, but remains a very avid beer lover and, of course, a very important person of this event as well. Thank you guys for your personal contribution and feedback and everything you have done for tonight. And the floor is yours right now.
I'm a beer sommelier, and I have the honor and the pleasure to taste like 5 beers from the Czech Republic, together with you and, of course, together with Filip. The nicest part is 3 of the 5 beers are also unknown to me. I heard about them, but I never tasted them, so I'm quite happy to do it this evening. So I don't know if they're good. I guess they will be very good, but it's also a surprise for me how they taste, how they look, how they smell. But the first beer of this evening, however, it's a very classical beer. It's Pilsner. Of course, original Pilsner, for the first time brewed in Pilsen, in the Czech Republic in the 19th century. The beer was very strange at the moment because it was a clear beer. It was blonde with a lot of foam, white foam. The taste For the time, it must be amazing because everybody wanted it, everybody liked it. It was even so far that the beer started to be copycat in a lot of European countries, and it was exported all around Europe and actually all around the world. It even came to Belgium, and even in Belgium, it caused some troubles in the beer industry because everybody liked Pilsner beer, and the people didn't like the original Belgium ales. So what our brewers did in the early 20th century, they start like a competition along Belgian brewers to create a beer that can be a competitor for Pils beer. After a few attempts, they came up with a style, Special Belge. So actually, one of our famous Belgian beer style is just a reaction to the race of the Pilsner beer. So let's try the beer. I even got like my old vintage glass from the Pilsner brewery. I bought it in the 90s at a brewery in Pilsen during my first visit. I have a brand new one that the brewery gave to me a few years ago, but I prefer this one, so I'm going to use it to taste the beer. Yeah. As you all can see, the appearance of the beer is like, it's almost perfect. It's golden, have a nice carbonation, very smooth, very soft, but really present. Like the foam is like huge. It's like white. It's like really nice to look at. It's like the perfect glass of beer you see in the commercials. It's like you really want to taste it. You really want to drink it. And not only one, but a lot. If you smell it, and that's the nicest thing about the beer, normally an industrial lager made in Belgium or maybe France or the United States doesn't have any aroma, doesn't have any smell. The nose is like very shy or very discreet. Here you have really like the malt is coming out. And if you smell very, very well, you have also a little hop aroma. It's very nice. It's very subtle, but it's integrated in the beer. So for the Belgian people, please smell the beer, and it's really nice, the smell in your nose. Then, of course, you're going to take a sip. That's a nice part of tasting beer. Sorry, but I'm going to take a second sip. It's too good. If you drink it or taste it, it's just like the nose. It's clean. It's fresh. You have like the malt is coming out. You have kind of sweetness. You have a light body. It's very drinkable. It's very smooth. In the end, you have a nice touch of bitterness coming from Czech hops, from Sas. I don't know how you say it in a Czech, Celtic or Celtic. I don't know how you pronounce it, but maybe Filip can help me out, or later.
It's chocolate.
Okay, thank you. My knowledge of Czech language is very, very poor, and my pronunciation is even worse, so I won't try again. But anyway, you have really the hops coming from Sas. They're really good. They're noble hops, and it's perfectly integrated in the beer. If you drink it, it's like beer. You go to the pub, you're sitting at a bar. It's not allowed for the moment, unfortunately, but you drink one beer, they bring you another, you just drink it. You don't think about it because it's so good, it's so clean, it's so fresh, it's so smooth, and it's so perfectly integrated. You forget how good the beer is because it's so easy drinkable. And it's like, for me, one of my criteria is a good beer or a bad beer. Those I went the second glass. And for this beer, yes, I went the second glass, and a third one, and a fourth one, and maybe a fifth one. And I visited the brewery a few times. And if you go in the cellar of the brewery, they have like, it's maybe for tourists. I don't know. I really love the place. They have like the old beer, the old lager in the cellar. It's not pasteurized. It's not filtered. if you're there, you can drink beer, you're in heaven. And that's for me, the Pilsner Urquell. It's still one of the best pilsners in the world, and it's still, for me, it's still a world-class beer. Cheers.
Okay, it's my turn now. Okay, hello everybody. Also from me, from Prague. Good to see you all. Almost 100 people. I'm amazed with the interest. Thank you for Jitka for the introduction, and Luc for what you said about the Pilsner. I became thirsty now. I will start the Belgian part of our tasting with Belgium classic. You were speaking about the Czech classic beer. I will start with one of the Belgian classics. That's a saison. Saison, English translated like a season beer. It's a typical beer for Walloon region, so for the French-speaking part of the Belgium. It was originally brewed as a refreshment in winter at farms for the season workers in the summer. So sometimes it's called farmhouse ale or farm ale. And this one from the Dupont, Brewery Dupont, is the most famous one in Belgium. So we will start with them because it's a really classic and very great refreshment thirst quencher in Belgium. So I really like it during my stay. What's important for Belgian beer culture is, in my opinion, also the culture of beer glasses. So I want to thank here to the boys from the Bierhuis who equipped me with all the original beer glasses. So I can pour my saison into the original saison glass. It's very important for Belgians, in my opinion, and I like this, that every Belgian beer has its right glass, original glass that underlines all the qualities of the beer, so you can get all the smells, all the tastes from the beer. So we will start with the saison, and for the saison, this one is used this simple handleless glass with a heavy button. We know it also from the Czech Republic. We drink our session beers from such a glasses. So we will be tasting this one, and oops. So you can see it's really sparkling. It's a lot of CO2 in it due to a secondary according to a fermentation in the bottle. So it's very sparkling, very fresh beer. The color is almost like the Pilsner, as you were shown by Luc. Very nice gold color, very thick, very creamy head, foam head. When you smell it, there's a lot of nice smells. You can smell malts, citruses, yeasts, even a little bit of hops. It's very complex beer, and I really like it during my stay in Belgium. Yeah, really complex aromatic beer. There's a fine hoppy flavor, and in the same time such a dry bitterness. But you can find also some touches of sweetness, some fruit stones, even some herbs and spices. So really great beer, and I like this long dry aftertaste in your mouth after you sip it. So in my opinion, it's a such equivalent to the Czech Pilsner, because you can't get the Czech Pilsner in Belgium. So I prefer to drink this beer. And one last remark, what is also important for Belgian beer culture is the food pairing, or pairing food and beers, because in Belgium, beer is a very high quality beverage, like wine, and the Belgian chefs can do amazing things with beer and food. So I will also give you some hints what you can pair with the beers we will be tasting here. So regarding saison dupont, it pairs excellently with the seafood like mussels, or with cheese dishes, generally with matured cheese. I personally, as I said, drink it as an alternative to Czech Pilsner, so I really like to pair it with the roasted meats, and you can also pair it with a chocolate. And who will win my book? Who will find even the hint with what kind of chocolate you can pair this saison with? I don't have a chocolate here, but I took one favorite Czech matured cheese. So I will enjoy my beer with this cheese, and I leave the floor for another beer.
Okay. Send me some cheese. Enjoy it. Thank you very much. And enjoy the beer and the cheese. I have a second beer from Czech Republic. I'm going to try to pronounce the name, but Únětický Pivo. It's unfiltered one. It's the first time in my life I'm going to drink it. I heard about the beer, I heard about the brewery, but I never tried it in my life. So it's going to be like a journey for me and for you. So now I'm using, Filip was telling us like every Belgian beer has his own glass. It's true. If you go to a pub and our beer is not served in the right glass, we're getting a little annoyed, a little angry, and we are saying to the pub owner, please give us the right glass, because this is not a good one. But we also have like some glasses, we call it Passepartout. You can use it for almost every beer. And this is one of my Passepartout glasses. I use it to taste beer. If I don't know the right glass, or if I'm not able to get the right glass, I'm using this one. It's a very good glass for tasting. So if you look at the beer, well, it's blonde, little amber. It's a nice foam. It's very dense. It's white. If you look at the carbonation, well, it's very lively. It's very, I wouldn't say smooth, but it's very present. Let's smell the beer. When I smell the beer, actually I smell two things. I smell like the yeast is very present in the nose. there's another thing that's very, very present in the nose. It's like a diacetyl. It's like a product in beer. It can give like an added value to the beer. And there is a big difference between Belgian beer culture and Czech beer culture. When I'm travel from Belgium to Czech Republic, I noticed that, and Filip, please correct me if I'm wrong, that people from Czech Republic, they like more diacetyl in their beer than Belgian people. For me, if I smell it, it's on the edge. If I will ask like Czech beer lovers of Czech beer drinkers, they're going to say, oh, wow, this is great. So for me, maybe it's a little on the edge, but anyway, I'm going to try it. In the mouth, like the beer is very soft and very smooth. It's like a treat on the palate. Like the mouthfeel of the beer is amazing. It's medium to me. It's not full body. It's not light. It's medium. And then once again, like the acetyl, it's like a touch of butter. It's very, 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 very present. For me, it touches the borders of like it's pleasant or it's not pleasant. I'm talking about personal preferences, but it's a real Czech style, and I learned to appreciate it when I came to Czech Republic to taste beer. You have it more, and once you are there, you are in it, you like it. If I come back to Belgium, then I have to say it's different from Belgian beer culture than Czech beer culture. But anyway, the beer is good, clean, drinkable, and very soft. If I can make the relation to the Pilsner, the two things I like about the beer, both beers are very soft and very drinkable. I repeat myself, but you will drink another glass and another glass, another glass. And that's for me is beer culture. And Filip was telling about Jitka during the introduction. She was telling that, okay, we are two small countries, but you have like a giant beer culture. We are superpowers about beer, but we also are superpowers, pubs. I know some great countries, they have great beers, but they don't have great pubs. And for me, in the world, there are only 4 regions or 4 countries where they have like a great pub life. Of course, Belgium, the UK and Ireland, Germany, and Czech Republic. If you go there, pub life is amazing. And I remember the first time, it was also in the 90s when I bought the vintage glass. When I came there, we went to university, and with 4 friends, we drove with like an old car, a very old car. We drove to Czech Republic, and the first pub, they told us, if you are there and your glass is empty, they just bring you another one. And we didn't believe it because in Belgium, it's completely different. And we're sitting in the pub and we drank our glass like very, very fast to get like, and then the waiter came with like 4 big glasses, and he just put like another mark on the little paper for the bill. It was amazing. And that's like something you should cherish, you should care about, because great beer is nothing without a great pub and a great pub culture. That's what I say, but take another sip and cheers.
Okay, thanks for your memories on Czech Republic in the 90s. It's almost the same till nowadays. Even the pilsner is maybe 20 times more expensive than it was at that time. But back to Belgium, I will come to another Belgian classic, and we are coming to one of the treasures of the Belgian beer culture, and that's Trappist beers. This one is a really exceptional beer. Orval, I think everybody knows it. It's from the Orval Abbey at the really southern edge of the Belgium, near the borders with the Luxembourg. It's really great beer and very exceptional because the Orval brewery use wild yeast when brewing, when preparing this beer. It's unique even for the Trappist, and also it use dry hopping when preparing this beer. So, as I said, really exceptional beer, very classic. It's famous also for its glass. It's an iconic glass with a wide bowl, such a short stem. The interesting is that the designer of the glass is also architect of the whole new Orval Abbey, which was built in the 1920s. And the brewery was opened there in the 1931, so that the monks could earn some money for renovating of this abbey. So they started to brew beer and sell the beer. And the architect not only built the abbey, the brewery, designed this glass, but even this bottles look like a bowling pin, and it was everything done by one man, which was called Henri Vaz. As I called him in my book, very Renaissance man. So we will now taste this great beer. It should be poured in this way. You can see also it's very vivid, very lively beer, also with re-fermented in the bottle, so very sparkling. But thanks to this shape, all this foam will flow all over. As you can see, it is a nice orange gold color, or maybe a bit amber. Nice creamy head. Really fantastic beer. When you smell it, you can smell a lot of, let's say, resin, lavender, orange, even a little bit hops, thanks to dry hopping. It's also very complex beer. In the taste, you can find the yeast and the hoppy aroma. A lot of fruits, dry fruits, pear, plums. It's a nice bitter, but so dry bitter, really refreshing beer. Not so strong like normally Trappist beers are. They are normally 8, 9, 10 and more % of volume alcohol. This one is 6.2, traditionally 6.2. It's the only beer from Orval that you can buy in shops in Belgium, all over the world. The brewery makes one more beer, but you can have it only in Abbey or near the Abbey in the cafe called the Guardian Angel. It's very near to it. So, and it's called Petit Orval or Green Orval, and it's a lighter version of this beer, which was originally brewed for monks. But as I said, you can taste it only there. Regarding the food pairing, I found that it's excellent to compare to walnuts or to the walnut cheese. Luc's Beer Grand Cru journal recommends to pair it with a pork tenderloin stuffed with Orval cheese or with warm goat cheese salad with acacia honey. But the Belgians also like to pair it with fish or ham from Ardennes. So that's this really classic and thirsty quenching beer. And before I give the word back to Luc, one more interesting thing for the Czechs maybe. There are several links which connects Orval Abbey with the Czech Republic, mainly with its history. So if you join the competition for this book, you will find more there about these links. So that was for the second beer. Enjoy it. It's very lovely. And back to Luc.
Actually, Orval is my beer. When I go out with friends, that's the beer I drink all evening. It's very tasteful. It's very thirst-quenching. It's not, according to Belgium standards, it's not too high in alcohol. So it's a beer you can drink all evening and you are not getting drunk right away. That's a beer you have in a lot of pubs. So you can drink it all the time and everywhere. So it's a great choice.
And I find walnuts here, so I will try this combination with walnuts. But now it's your turn.
Okay, my third beer is going fast. It's also non-pasteurized, non-filtered, if I can understand it quite well. The brewery is, to be honest, completely unknown to me. Now we're going to change it. We're going to try it, and once again, it's going to be a journey that we are taking together to discover this beer.
Ty ořechy lezou těsně do zubu. Nevím, to chtěl vyzkoušet.
No. Once again, the beer is looking great. Amber color, very nice, dense, white foam, nice carbonation. The nose is a little shy to me, a little discreet at the moment. Oh, this is quite nice. You have like in the nose, you really have like the malt, a little touch of caramel, like a little sweet impression, a warm sweet impression, like a summer evening when you end of August, when you're walking around in the green fields. There can be like a kind of sweetness in the air. It smells like grain, and this one reminds me to a warm August evening in the grain fields. And if you smell it, it's really the malt that's doing a great job. If you drink it, once again, it's very, very smooth. It's very soft. The water seems to be very, very soft. The carbonation is nice and smooth on the tongue, on the palate. In the middle of the beer, you have like, once again, the sweetness of the malt. You have like a little touch of caramel. And then in the end, it's going really smooth. And you have like a small touch of bitterness. But I also like about the beer, it's very balanced. It's completely imbalanced. You don't have any angles. You drink it, it's first impression, it's easy to drink. but it's so balanced. And you have a little complexity. In the end, the nice touch of bitterness combined with the caramel and the sweetness of the malt. It's very, very, very nice. So it's a very nice surprise, and I'm really glad I can taste this beer. I never heard of it, but next time I'm in Czech Republic, I'm gonna look the brewery up, try to visit it, try some other beers from the brewery, because this one is very, very nice. It's a nice and pleasant surprise. Thank you, my Czech friends, to give me an occasion to try this at home. I'm really impressed. It's quite good beer. Thanks. Food pairing. If I drink this, I know some Belgian cheeses will be perfect, with a perfect pairing with this kind of beer. Or even it looks like a little bizarre or strange, but try lobster with this beer, because you have a little touch of caramel, a little touch of nuts, and if you have like a boiled lobster, you have also the little sweet and touch of nuts. And I never tried with this beer, but I think it can work. So with holidays, with Christmas, open a bottle of this beer, buy a lobster and try it. Cheers. Are you ready, Filip?
I had to unmute myself. I'm glad that you already started also to pair Czech beers with food, because in the Czech Republic it's not so common, and we usually get some sauce or some typical pub dishes with the beer, but not the high cuisine with the beer. So I'm really glad.
But like
that you
like even a pilsner, you can do it like if you're in Belgium, take a pilsner Kel and just pair it with like Belgian fries. It's simple but perfect.
Okay, thank you for the hint. But back to Belgium, to the Belgian beers, and my third beer will be another classic. We will almost all classics will be, and that's a Westmalle triple. Westmalle is another famous Trappist brewery, and this beer is the most iconic triple in Belgium. Sometimes it's called mother of all triples, because this beer inspired all other brewers to brew this style of beer. It was first launched in 1934, and this recipe is held, I think, from 50s till nowadays. So it's a very classical triple. For those in the Czech Republic who don't know nothing about the triple, triple means that there's a higher quantity of malt used for brewing, higher than normal. One of the legends or versions of this name says that it was 3 times more than by a normal ale, but in reality it's not so much. But there are more malts used for it, so the beers are strong. They are sweeter than classical beers, but they are very complex. You can find a lot of tastes there, and they are excellent. And Westmalle is their front runner. So let's taste this triple. We have original glass as well. So Westmalle triple is poured into this chalice on a narrow stem with a wide bowl. again, it's re-fermented in the bottle, so very living beer. You can see the nice color again, gold, really deep gold, nice thick creamy foam head of the beer. And when you smell it, it's wonderful. You can smell, well, fruits, hops, also such a honey sweetness, spices. As I said, it's a very, very complex beer, not only for smelling, but mainly when you taste it. Yeah, it's a sweet, soft. On the other hand, you have you can feel the hops bitterness and fruit aromas. It has a nice malty body, and wonderful long aftertaste, where you can find honey, again some citruses, orange peel. Really great beer. I must confess, when I came to Belgium, I was a little bit afraid of triples because they are too strong for me for Czech beer drinker who like to have 5-10 pieces, right? But I really fell in love in triples during my stay in Belgium, and this was one of my favorite beers. So I have to mention the food pairing also. I was looking for all these pairings, and due to its complexity, you can pair it with a lot of foods, with cheeses, caprese salad, beef stew with chicory rolled in ham, and according to the Licks Beer Grand Cru, it goes well with a salmon fillet with leeks and grilled asparagus. So now you can try this beer if you have. I will try it again with my with my cheese, and I give the word back to Luc.
Yeah. Westmalle is indeed one of the finest beer in the world, and as a triple, it's like outstanding. And like Filip was saying, the only mistake at Westmalle is the level of alcohol. It's too high because that's a beer you want to drink all day, but after 2, maximum 3, you're like, oh my god. But okay, back to Czech beer, and we also have a beer from an abbey made by the monks. I'm really curious to taste it. It's normally it's a Belgian tradition to make beers in monasteries all over the place. We have, of course, our Trappist ales made by the Trappist, but we've also a lot of breweries or monasteries who making beer, let's say, according to the raw recipe they found. In 9 out of the cases, it's just like a marketing talk, but we have some great monastery beers in Belgium. So now I'm very eager and very curious to taste one monastery beer out of Czech Republic. Once again, beer looks fine. The carbonation is very, very, very lively. The beer is amber with like some a red shine or red touch in it. It's like, yeah, a decent, rather small, white beige foam. That's lasting. Yeah. Great appearance, you would say. Take another sip. This is a nice beer. The nose, once again, the malt, but of course, like malt from Czech Republic. It's really great. One of the best in the world. You smell the warm, sweet smell of the grain, of the malt in it. Once again, little caramel. Not overwhelming, but present. In the mouth, medium body. Once again, and all the beers have it, I must say. They are really smooth, soft, and very drinkable, and very, very gentle on the palate. It's a little bit like the third beer. Soft, caramel, sweet. In the aftertaste or in the final, once again, a little touch of hops. Here also like some fruitiness, some dry fruit in the beer. And what I really especially like about this beer, it lingers. It puts like a layer on your tongue, on your mouth. And even after like, I'm talking now for 1 minute, without having a sip, the beer is still present on my palate. It lasts. If I do like this, I still can taste the beer. It's like a well-made English cask ale. When you drink one sip, you have a layer for the next 2 minutes on your palate. This beer is doing almost the same. Take another sip. It's quite good. Well balanced also. Quite integrated. Nice integration between malt, hops, some little fruitiness. I don't know if it's esters or it's coming from the yeast, but it's quite nice. And the sweet touch of the malt is also once again very present. It's a nice beer. I could, since we're approaching the end of the tasting, I can drink this with a cake, with a normal Belgian butter cake, maybe with some sweet marmalade, just on a lazy Sunday afternoon. It's going to be the perfect pairing, the perfect time in the sofa with the family. This beer, a cake, sitting down in my sofa, just drinking and eating and relaxing. Yeah. Cheers. I think you have another Belgian beer, Filip?
Of course, and I'm glad that you mentioned the sweet, because we are coming to the sweets and to the sweet beers. And what we'll be tasting now in the Belgium section is the Castel Donker, which is a strong dark ale, or sometimes called quadruple. It's dark top fermented beer brewed with the special malts and brown sugars. A lot of Czechs know it and drink it, even though they don't know it, because it's a basic for Castel Rouge, which is one of the most popular, maybe most popular Belgian beer in the Czech Republic. And the Castel Rouge is a blend of this Donker and cherry liqueur. So a lot of Czechs already tasted it, even though maybe they don't know it. So now we will be tasting this original again in a original glass, and this one could use everybody from the Czech audience who bought the Superpower beer set in the Bierhuis, because boys give it as a present to this set. So everybody from the Czechs here in the audience, or participants of our online degustation, should have it. So you can use it. As you can see, it's again chalice on the narrow stem, on rather shallow wide body. Looks a little bit like a tulip, but it's not the classical tulip shape like we know by the Duvel, for example, and so on. But let's go there. According to the brewery, it should be poured on one time with the one move. So let's try it.
Wow, nice job.
And I was successful. And you can see it's a nice, oh, you can't see it. Nice dark brown, well, mahogany, almost mahogany color. Well, creamy head, or beige, or almost dark, or brown head, and when you smell it, you smell caramel, raisins, dry fruits. It's well, touches of chocolate. It's really like a dessert beer. It's a very strong. So if Luc said that the triples are strong, the Westmalle triple has 9.5% of alcohol. This one has 11, so almost like a wine, or like a wine. So be careful. It's very strong. Oh, yeah. It's a sweet caramel sweet with the honey notes, with touches of nuts, dry fruits, well, raisins, figs. You can feel the alcohol strengthening and the warmness of the warmness of the beer. Chocolate notes. So yeah, almost no hoppiness, but really like a dessert beer. I really like such a kind of beer for the end of my beer session in the pub, like instead of cake, to have this beer. In Belgium, it's paired with a red meat, like a lamb, or with the oxtail. The brewery Van Hansebroek recommends pairing with pork cheese. Unfortunately, I don't have here no pork cheese, no oxtail, so I like this brewing beers, this dark beers with the white cheese. So I chose goat cheese. So I will enjoy my Castle Donker with the cheese, and give for the last time, or for the last sample word to Luc.
Try. We can give like one tip. Try the Castile with the goulash in Czech Republic. It's maybe not the best pairing, but it's a good pairing. And now I'm very curious. Wild creatures. I had the pleasure to meet one of the persons behind the brewery at the tasting in Bivovar Brewery 2 years ago. So we tasted a few beers from the brewery. So now I'm really curious about this one. Anyway, what's also for me very important, of course, the beer is the most important, but also the packaging is very nice. It's very important. If you see this kind of bottle of beer, it's almost like a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne. So I really love the packaging. Oh, this is amazing, like cherry red. It's like almost like a wine color. A nice, like, the foam is not white, but a little pink. In Belgium, we call it rose. But the appearance is nice. I cannot see a lot of carbonation, but I think it's present. The nose is nice. I have a little like a touch of wild yeast, like wild fermentation, some fruitiness, some horse blanket. Quite complex, also quite challenging. Oh, this is really nice. You know, I was born and raised in Brussels, near to the Pajottenland. You know, when Brussels is like the capital of wild fermentation, lambic, Keus, Creek. In Belgium, we say we only can do it in Belgium. It's partly true, not totally true, and it's not a lie, but you can make good beers of wild other fermentation outside Belgium. This is a nice example. Appearance is great, the nose is fantastic, but like the taste, you have it all. You have some sour touch, you have some horse blanket, you have the fruit. And in the end, it's very lingering. It's a very long final. You can enjoy it again and again. This is really, for me, that's all the beers were fantastic and good, but this is really, this is a top class beer. It's quite amazing having a beer like this from Czech Republic. You don't, if people are asking like, what beer can drink in Czech Republic, everybody will say Pils. A few people will say Dunkel Lager. A few people will say, oh, you have some Abbey beers somewhere in the country, but nobody will say you can drink a wild fermented beer with fruit. But this is great. Thank you for sending me the bottle. Cheers. Filip, it's your turn.
Okay. The beer that you were tasting comes from the wine region, from the Southmoravia, from Mikulov, which is the heart of our wine industry. I like the region, and I like it also because of this brewery, these beers. It's maybe the only one brewery which works with wild fermentation and focus only on wild or spontaneously fermented beers. And Jitka Ilčíková, who is the brewmaster, combines them with the grapes, with the different kind of wine grapes, and the beers are really wonderful. But back to Belgium, as you said, Belgium is a country where the wild fermentation or spontaneous fermentation comes from, or not comes from, but it's the most famous for. And one of the styles from this spontaneous fermented beers is the Kriek. We chose for this tasting Lindemann's Kriek. It's not a classical lambic Kriek, which is for some beer drinkers too sour, because classic lambic Krieks are made from lambic, which is a sour beer, and fresh cherries, fresh sour cherries. So the beer is great, but sour for someone too sour. So there's a sort of sweetened or sweetened versions, and it's one of the examples. So we chose that for people who don't know the fruit lambics. It's a little bit sweeter than the classical lambic Krieks. For this one is 1 year old lambic used together with a 25% of cherry juice and fructose. For tasting, you can use glass like this one, or chalice like for wine is also okay. So, and where's my opener? Oh, here it is. You can see the color. It's sparkling red, ruby red with the pink foam, or as you said, rosé, rose, really nice red ruby color. When you smell it, you really very intensive cherry smell. Also strong fruity character in the taste, but you can find there a little bit of sourness from the lambic. And such a tart finish. This beer is ideal for as an aperitif, or as in summer as a thirst quencher. You can drink gallons of such a beer. It's not a strong beer. It has 3.5% of alcohol, so it's not so heavy. So you can drink a lot of this beer during the summer as a refreshment. Also great. Regarding the food pairing, I found that it goes well with the Italian goat cheese brunet, or with the cottage cheese, and some beer connoisseurs recommend to pair it with the meatballs, cod fillet, or with a mushroom sauce. I don't have any mushroom sauce or meatballs here. As I show you, I have my goat cheese here, so I will enjoy this with this light fruit beer with the goat cheese. And I think now it's for Jitka to host the debate, or start the debate.
Thank you so much, guys. That really was entertaining and interesting at the same time. I'm also having really good time reading the discussion both here and at our YouTube channel. It is pretty funny. So thanks to everyone who shared their insights and their comments. I have first 3 questions. I will ask them right now, but please, everyone in the audience, you can already be raising your virtual hands in the participant section, or you can keep asking your questions in the chat, and we will then ask them for you or ask you to go directly to the speakers. So we did have an interesting question, probably to both of you guys, Luc and Filip. Why do you think that is, that the Belgian beers are in general twice as strong as the Czech beers? Is there a specific reason for that?
Oh yes, Belgian people are just a bunch of drunks. No, actually, in Belgium, there was we had in 1919, we had a law we call Wet van de Velde. It's the law van de Velde. And in 1919, it was a time of you couldn't drink alcohol. In the States, you weren't allowed to drink alcohol. In Scandinavia, alcohol was banned. And in Belgium, they make actually a law to try to protect the people not drinking strong alcohol. We call it Genever. And one day, they decided you could not sell alcohol with more than 20% ABV in public places. So all the alcohol was banned. So the brewers, because the people wanted their alcohol, so brewers started in the 20s to brew big brews like Westmalle Triple, the beer Philippe tasted, Duvel, Bouche du Buisson. They were created in the early 20s to give the people their alcohol and their strong beers. So actually, our tradition of drinking strong beers, it partly comes from that law and the reaction to that law. That's the reason we have strong beers in Belgium. Because in the beginning of the 20th centuries, we were also drinking low alcohol beers to quench down our art liquor.
I have nothing to add because it was Luc who explained me this story, and I also use it in my book because I also didn't know it. So that's the right version.
So Filip, a question for you then from a Belgian viewer we had in the chat. What kind of breweries are the ones that we tasted here today from the Czech Republic? Are they rather small breweries or rather big ones? Of course, Pilsner is one of the biggest ones, but what about the other ones?
The other ones are the very small ones, the so-called craft breweries, even Únětický, that was the name that Luc was struggling to pronounce. Únětický is now, well, let's say it's a middle class brewery, but still it's still the craft there, and it's very popular brewery near the Prague. I was there 2 weeks ago. We made such a weekend trip outside of Prague, so we went there to buy some beers. We have a very popular action, Zachraň Pivo. In English, it's Save the Beer. During the lockdown, we are visiting small breweries, craft breweries, and buying their beers on the spot because they are not able to sell it in their pubs. So I made this trip to Únětický, but otherwise, except the Pilsner, all are small craft breweries. The last one Luc was tasting, the Wild Creatures. It's a brewery of one woman. It's Jitka Elčíková who is doing almost everything there in the Mikulov. Mazák is a brewery from Dolní Bojanovice. It's a family brewery in a small village or small town in the southern Moravian. And even the Abbey brewery you were tasting. So all are the craft breweries, small breweries, and they are very popular now in the Czech Republic. We have more than 500 breweries now in the Czech Republic, and most of them are small craft breweries which were established in last 10-15 years, and they are now very, very popular still among the Czech beer lovers.
And look, how many breweries are there in Belgium then?
But it's depending how you count it. We in Belgium, we make the distinction between real breweries and beer firmas. So beer firmas are people who have a brand, but they're not brewing their own beer. If we say about real breweries, let's say 300 for the moment, and then we have like 200 or 300 like beer firmas, more or less. But it's like changing every day.
All right. Question from Christina. So Christina, I will unmute you right now and you can ask your question right ahead. Or try to unmute yourself. You should be able to unmute yourself, Christina, by clicking on the microphone. Not working yet. Okay, let me then ask Mr. Vrchota, who is also having a question for our speakers. You can unmute yourself and ask yourself now if you can.
Hello, is it working?
Yes.
So good evening, both of you. I thank you very much for the presentation you had tonight. I would like to ask both of you which one of the samples we've had today you find the best. And also I would like to ask if there is another favorite beer we didn't have today that you personally like. Thank you very much.
If I can start, Filip?
Yeah. I have a sample in front of me, so I was. I don't know if it is for me or for the other participants, but please.
That's for everyone.
Okay.
No, the best beer is hard to tell because the styles were quite different. But in the tasting, what for me were two most surprises, wild creatures, because I didn't suspect such an high quality beer, spontaneous wild fermentation coming from Czech Republic. Even I met the brewster 2 years ago. I tasted the beer, and in my memory, it was not that good. But that bottle, this sample, for me was amazing. Also, the third beer, the amber beer, for me was really a revelation because I liked the smoothness of it, and like it was really soft caramel, like the malt was great. So I really liked it. And when I come to Czech Republic, it's not about a brand, but when I go to a pub, I order a pilsner, 9 out of 10. The pilsner is so good. I spend the rest of the day in the pub. So that's my feelings about today's visitation. That's my feeling about beer in Czech Republic. Once you have a pils over there at the bar, I can spend the rest of the day in the bar just drinking the fresh, clean pilsner. I hope it answers your question.
Okay, and I can spend all night drinking Belgian beers. And my most favorite are the first two ones. Also, so Saison Dupont. I like, as I said, I really like Saison. It was also well, I didn't know Saison before I came to Belgium, and it was a discovery for me. And I really like Orval. Orval is very drinkable, very fresh beer. Yeah, you can, as Luc said, you can spend all night on Orval and you can easily survive. When you will drink Westmalle Triple all night, you will be dead in the morning. So my most favorite ones are the first one, but Westmalle Triple is also my favorite one. Regarding the creeks, I like, it's my passion, the sour beers, and I like lambics, the Gurzes creeks. but I really like the sour ones. I'm the one who was raised on a Czech classic in pub, which is a buština kysel, how it's called, sausage with the vinegar, and I really like also to drink the vinegar. And so when I came to Belgium, I really fell in love into the lambics and to the gueuzes. So for me, the Lindemans Creek is too sweet. I really like the unsweetened version with the real cherries. It's really sour. That I found very refreshing. Well, I like this original Belgian lambic classic. So that's maybe the when you ask for the style that we didn't taste it here. We didn't put the traditional lambics and gueuzes into the tastings today because we want to show the best of the Belgian, but what you can accept, let's say, because I know most of the Czechs don't like the sour beers or are not big fans of the sour beers. So we didn't put sour beers or the real sour beers into this tasting for the Czechs. But next time I'm ready to do it.
You should now see on screen also the results of our poll in regards to the favorite beer style of our audience tonight. So, well, Pilsner is winning.
I will be voting for the sours, but I missed the voting.
Me also.
Okay. We count your voice in. Look, we still had a question for you in the chat. Actually, Filip already replied to that. What is your favorite creek, or which creek would you consider to be the highest quality of the Belgian beers?
There are a few. Depending on my mood, I like the creek of Drie Fonteinen, Oude Schaarbeekse Krieken. You know, in Brussels, we have another variety of cherries. It's called Oude Schaarbeekse Krieken, and they are really sour. And now it was like almost disappeared, the variety of cherries. And now brewers are replanting the cherries to blend them with their lambic. And Drie Fonteinen and Oud-Beersel is doing a great job. That's for the sour part. But I also really like, and it's more like more smooth, more like how would I say it? Easier to drink. I like also the Cuvée René of Lindemans, and I like also the Mariage Parfait of Frank Boon. And there are two different styles depending on my mood. But the real sour stuff, Oude Schaarbeekse Krieken, Drie Fonteinen, Oud-Beersel, and then the really more mainstream stuff, Mariage Parfait or Cuvée René. Those are my favorites in Creek.
Well said. A question for Filip from the audience, from our Belgian viewer. She has a question for the Czechs about foam, and she is saying, we spent some time in the Czech Republic last year. We noticed sometimes that we get a lot of foam, almost half of the glass. To us, it was perceived as poor skills of the waiter or neglect, but a girl in the bar explained to us it is a matter of respect in the Czech Republic to serve a lot of foam. Is it true? So how is it with the foam in Czech beers, Phil?
Well, it depends. Normally not. You should get the foam like if there's a third of the liter, so you should have this. This should be the foam, and this should be the beer. But there are ways how to tap the beer, and there are different kinds of or different kinds of tapping beer. And when you say to the barman or to the barmaster that you want mlíko or the milk, so you will get so much foam, and this will be the beer. So we have several types of tapping of beer, and depending on them, there will be so much of the foam. But normally, when you get the normal beer, it should be let's say the upper fifth or so. So it should not 1/3, but as I said, it's surprising, and I was teaching one of our participants, Frank, which I'm greeting. He's from Germany, to explain him what is mlíko in the Czech tradition, so that you will get almost the full glass of the foam. So it could happen also, this kind of things in a Czech pub.
Okay, we have a question from Leo. Leo, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, whatever it is.
Hi everyone, this is Leo. I'm from Brazil. I was, as you can see, I'm in my car. I just had to stop the car just to watch your presentation here, guys. It's awesome content. Thank you. I have 3 questions, right? Basically, the first one is, we see a lot of Belgian imports here in Brazil, right? But we don't see that many options in terms of Czech beer around here. So what are your thoughts about the way that the Czech market deals with imports, especially in our region here, because we see a lot of Belgian beer, and I really would like to try a lot more of Czech beer in my own country. So this is the first one. The second question would be, I'd like to see some recommendations from you guys on Belgian triples, which is basically one of my favorite styles of beer. And the third one is regarding brewing. I am a brewer myself, and if you guys can give me some pointers in terms of brewing techniques to brew the perfect Czech pilsner, which is one of my favorite beer styles ever in terms of drinkability. And Luc, cheers, miss you,
Cheers,
and
Leo.
can't
Nice
wait
to
to
see
see
you, my
you
friend.
in Blumenau next year, if possible, right? Miss you a lot. See you guys.
Here's my friend. Filip, I'll let you answer the question about the Czech Republic.
Yeah, and I stopped the car. I did stop the car. I'm parked here. No worries.
Okay, that's fine. I wouldn't like to that something happened to you. Regarding the export to Brazil, and unfortunately, we have some big exporting labels like Pilsner Urquell or Budweiser, which are sold all over the world. But I'm afraid that they are so strong and so export-orientated beers. The Pilsner Urquell is a part of Asahi group, so they can reach even such countries like Brazil. But I'm afraid no other Czech brewery or brewery group is able to reach Latin American. I would like to be wrong, but I'm afraid it's so far away that it's possible only for these strong, big, export-orientated breweries like the two I mentioned. So I'm not sure if you can taste more Czech beers in Brazil, even though I would be lucky if you could. And regarding the triple, I must say my my most favorite triple is called Biere, and it's from small brewery from southern Belgium called Biere. And I found it very accidentally. It was at the beginning of Brussels Beer Weekend, when I was a correspondent in Brussels, and the journalists have free beers before it starts on Friday evening. So I came to the stand of this brewery, tasted this beer, which is allegedly, or the brewery said it's brewed under the full moon, only under the full moon. I'm not, but it was very delicious, very drinkable, even though it has a 10% of alcohol. I drank there 4 or 5 glasses of it, and then at 6 o'clock in the evening, the Brussels Beer Weekend starts officially, and I have to speak to radio at that time. So it was very challenging moment, but since then I really like this triple. It's very drinkable, very complex, and even though it's very strong, you don't feel the strongness of the beer. So that's my favorite triple, Belgian triple called Biere. Regarding the brewing, I don't give you any advice because I brewed only once in my life, and the beverage I brewed was something like a pilsner that you let one day standing on your table. It tastes like this, so no foam, no CO2 or such. So I'm not a great expert on brewing. So I let it on Nick.
I don't want to say anything about Czech brewing, and especially not about Pils brewing. It's not my main subject neither, but I can say something about export. And I think it's the same about exporting for Czech breweries also. If we export to Brazil and we are exporting like Pilsners or low alcohol beers, they're very fragile. And the trip is long. Brazil is a very warm country. So I think the beers, the low alcohol beers and fragile beers will arrive in a very bad state in Brazil. At least that's one of the reasons that some Belgian breweries don't export certain beer styles or certain beers to South America. So I think it may be the same reason in Czech Republic. Depending on the triples, what can I say, Leo? Westmalle triple, of course, it's one of the best. But my top 3 is like first Westmalle, second Jaume de Bois of Brasserie de la Seine. It's a quite hoppy triple. And the third one is Guldenberg from a small brewery in the Flanders. So this is my top 3. But if I can come to Blumenau next year, I will bring you 3 bottles, 3 triples, and we can taste them together.
You guys, we have so many questions here. I am afraid we won't be able to have all of them, but I can assure everyone who has questions that once the Q&A session is over, you can still hang around, and if Filip and Luc are available, they can answer you in a less organized manner after we quit the live stream, because there are questions pouring in via YouTube and our chat channel and everywhere else. But we will still continue and ask definitely a few more. I would like to ask Mr. Michal Šetka, who has been wanting to ask a question to Filip, if I'm not mistaken, to unmute himself.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. First of all, thank you very much. It was very interesting. I would like to have 2 questions. Filip, first of all, one, it's technical, because during the tasting of Saison du Pont, you've been talking about the re-fermentation in the bottle. Could you explain it to me? What does it mean?
Okay, I can. And could you put the second question? So I will do the double.
Yeah, but maybe after that, but because I'm really interested in the meaning of that, because re-fermentation is something, and I'm from the wine business. I'm the wine taster and the editor-in-chief of the wine magazine. So wasn't it just a mistake? And don't you want to talk about fermentation in the bottle? Because re-fermentation is something like the secondary fermentation in the bottle.
Yeah, you're right. It's such a secondary fermentation in the bottle, and it's a very typical for Belgian beers. Before there are these things. I don't know what's the name for it. Put on the bottle.
The cap.
Yeah, the cap. There's the breweries put a little bit of sugar, sometimes also a little bit of yeast, and then cap it. And there's a new process of fermentation in the bottle. So that's why the beer is working even when it's when it's bottled. And I know.
So it's fermentation in the bottle, not the re-fermentation in the bottle, because technically re-fermentation in the wine world is something bad, because re-fermentation can start spontaneously if you do not have the wine stable. For example, champagne is fermented in the bottle. It's a secondary fermentation which is in the bottle. But re-fermentation is something which is not stable starts to ferment again. So I think this is not the case of that beer, or?
I don't know if I'm mistaken, but it's the re-fermentation. It's the terminus technicus that all English literature use for this process in the beer bottles. So maybe Luc can explain it better. But every literature I read, every people I spoke to use the term of re-fermentation when speaking about this process in the beer bottles. So, Luc, can you explain us?
Actually, your explanation was quite clear. Re-fermentation is the correct technical term. And what's different with when I don't know anything about making wine, to be honest. I just drink. But when we do re-fermentation in a bottle, some Belgian breweries are using another yeast strain. They have a first yeast strain to the fermentation in the tanks. Then when they fill the bottle, they add a little of sugar, they add a little yeast of another yeast strain. And that's one of the reasons we call it re-fermentation.
Okay.
But it's actually, I think it's a word game, but
yeah, that's true.
Belgian brewing word, we call it re-fermentation.
Okay. And the second question was about the beer and food pairing, because actually we do use some standards, some things which work together traditionally in a wine business. So how do you approach your pairing suggestions? Are there also any rules of pairing beer and food?
Yes, in Belgium, it's my personal approach. I like to work with the 3 C's. It's complement, contrast, and cut.
We got the same in wine?
Yeah, if you like complement, you're looking, just in a nutshell, looking the same taste in the beer as in the food. So sweet food with a sweet beer.
Yeah.
If you're doing contrast, like a bitter beer or sour beer with some sweet food. And that's different than the wine world, except maybe for champagne or sparkling wines. Cut. If you eat some, for instance, cheese or like food with a lot of grease, a lot of fat, there's a film on your tongue and your tasting buds are covered with some fat. That means that your tasting buds are working less well. So then you can drink a very hoppy beer or a sour beer, clean your palate, or a beer with a lot of carbonation to really scrub your tongue. And that's in a nutshell, that's the way we do it.
Yeah,
and of course,
if it's very similar.
A lot of tasting, a lot of eating and drinking.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The next question is from Mr. with an interesting name, Michael Hoppenbrouwers. Michael, if you can unmute yourself, the floor is yours now.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, first of all, I want to say about the re-fermentation. The difference with wine is that it's a very conscious process. So like Filip says, we add yeast, sugar to the beer, but afterwards we also put in a warm room for like 2 to 3 weeks. So it's not a mistake, not at all. It's a conscious process. Now the question that I had for the both gentlemen is like, if you would have the last beer in your life, which beer would you choose?
For me, Westmalle Triple.
Such a hi, Michael. I must greet Michael because, to be honest, you see the guy who wrote the foreword or preface to this book. So Michael is really one of the beer experts in Belgium, and it's such a difficult question. I love so many beers. I don't know what to choose. Well, I wasn't prepared.
It's a nasty question, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But for me, it's very simple. I take a Westmalle Triple, and then I'm hoping for resurrection, so I can drink another.
For me, it's the same, to be honest, because I grew up there. You know that.
I know you very well.
Maybe I will drink beer from my hometown, Benešov, with which I started when I was 15 years old, so some 25 years ago. So it's a quarter century. So I started with a beer called Ferdinand, and it was not so much delicious beer at that time. Now it's more better. So maybe I will take this one because it's my hometown pride, and so maybe this one. But really difficult question. I like so many beers, so different beers that I can't choose.
Right. Thank you very much, guys, and thank you to the organization. It's a fantastic event, really.
Great to see you.
I'm glad that we have such a good feedback. There have been quite a few comments about the number of the samples, that it is a lot for one evening. A very specific question goes to Luc. How many beers is he going to finish tonight, if all 5 of them? And then I will also like to relay a question to Filip. How did he choose the sequence of the beers? Specifically, the viewer asked, why did he not start with the Kriek?
But for me, the beers are really a little warm. So, and I'm talking a lot. I'm not drinking. So I'm gonna finish the bottle of Wild Creatures. That's for sure. Before I go to sleep, the bottle of Wild Creatures will be empty. That's for sure.
So I finished almost all the beers I opened here. My wife is helping me, so I'm not such a drinker. But we are almost empty. And the reason why I didn't start with Kriek, even though I originally planned it, it was I followed the sequence that Luc took. So when he started with the pilsner, I respond with the saison, and he put the spontaneously fermented beer or the Czech sour ale to the very end. So I put also the Kriek to the very end. So it was choreography of the evening, how it was stretched by the leg. So I followed him, and the Belgian beers responded somehow to the Czech beers that Luc presented before me.
All Right, and we have a question from Mr. Václav Vrchota. So, Mr. Vrchota, if you want to unmute yourself, you are free to do that now.
Thank you very much. Is it working?
Yes.
I would like to ask you if you are planning another session with different samples for the future. Thank you very much.
That would be a question to me, I'm afraid. Well, we are, of course, extremely pleased by this amazing turnout, which really is amazing, and by this amazing interest in the event and in the mutual interest, I would say, in the beer cultures of the two countries. Just an illustration story, the Czech beer samples here in Belgium sold out even before we managed to start proper advertising for the event. So my colleague very hastily brought another car of Czech beers to Belgium, and that was gone in like 4 hours, I think. So I think there is a demand. And we will definitely take into account also what has been called for in the chat, and that is something focused on pairing of beers with food. There were some fun remarks, but also some pretty serious remarks in the chat. So we promise we will take this into consideration for the beginning of the next year. And we will, of course, ask Luc and Filip to be there with us if they will be willing to do so. So we promise to consider that and try to plan it if possible.
And if I can speak for myself, I would say yes, but wait.
I can agree more with you, Filip.
Okay, well, I think we should actually slowly approach the end of this event. I do have a few more questions here. So let me ask those that I've noted down, and then we will end the live stream, but let you guys hang around if you want to, of course. Filip, you are known, maybe a last question for you. You are known for your beer coasters collection as well. And someone is asking whether a beer coaster is as important as a beer glass.
For me, yes, but normally not. You can, even though I got the original beer coasters from the guys from the Bierhuis for every beer, so I didn't use it. It's not so important, but I really like it, and it shows the creativity of the specific beer culture. And in this way, Belgian beer culture is also very rich, and I don't know any other beer superpower which produce so many new beer coasters. So yeah, you can have every month a new beer coaster of the brewery, and well, I really like to have new ones from Belgium. So to be honest, for beer drinking, it's not so important, but for me personally, it creates such a complex picture of the beer and more generally of the whole beer culture. To be honest, when there are countries in the world that don't use or don't have beer coasters, and I don't visit these countries because I really like to visit the countries that use beer coasters in their pubs. So that's magnet. I don't know what's the English word for this. It's something that's magnetizing. So that's one of the reasons why to visit such a country for me. So well, I would recommend to every country or to every brewery to produce beer coasters, and I will visit them.
And the last question for Luc tonight. Luc, someone is asking in the chat, what are the best beer cities to visit in Belgium? And if you have tips for the Czech Republic, go ahead with them as well.
Oh, in Belgium, how the best beer cities? For me, Brussels, of course. It's very easy. There are a lot of pubs. a few good breweries. Also, Antwerp is very nice. With the Koning, it's very, very nice to visit. You have some small breweries. And what's nice about Belgium, you don't really have to visit the cities, but I can recommend you hire a car, take a chauffeur, a driver with you, because you will need it, and just drive around in the countryside. There are a lot of nice regions, a lot of small breweries, and Belgium is such a small country, so if you drive for 2 hours, you can reach a lot of breweries in very small places. So I would say don't go to the cities, but go to the countryside. It's much more fun. And then spend a few days in Brussels, Antwerp, Ghent, or even Liège, to enjoy like beer culture in the city. But for breweries, go to the countryside, not to the big cities.
I will recommend West Flanders. That's a Midden region.
Or even take a bike and go with a bike. You can drink beer. You can do 2, 3, 4 breweries in a day, and you can drink a few glasses.
Well, once the confinement is over, I'm sure that we will be all very excited to return.
Yeah, you are welcome
to our local bars and breweries. Anyways, you should be seeing the results of our last poll on the screen. Most of you guys will be hungover tomorrow. That is understandable. That's why we planned it for right before the Belgian holidays. So we hope for the Belgians, the hangovers go smoothly. And for the Czechs, well, that's why we have a hair of the dog. And some people say that Pilsner is the best cure for a hangover. So maybe try that one. It has been amazing to have you. I hope you have sent the answers to our competition question for Filip's book to our private chats. If you have not managed that, you can still reach us until tomorrow, for instance, on our Facebook Messenger channel or on our emails. It's been really thrilling to have all of you. Big, big, big thank you to Luc and Filip. Thank you so much, guys. It's been really amazing to have you on board.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It was a great evening. Hopefully next time personally with the live audience and with this wonderful beer.